Joining us to react, National Review Editor-in-Chief Rich Lowry and Washington Examiner national political reporter Salena Zito. Great to see both of you on this Good Friday. Salena, to you first on this. Looking at that photo of Van Hollen dining al fresco with this thug. It's a reminder to the American people, if these Democrats ever return to power, that's the hardship and death and nightmare that will rain down upon the American people once again. Because that's what they care about. They don't care about victims. They don't care about the suffering of working people or just American citizens.
You know, in American politics, the way you win over new constituents, or the way you keep your constituents bound to you, is by what are your priorities, but also what is your contrast between you and the other guy. Right now, I feel like we're in this moment, first Star Wars moment, the general, right? He goes, it's a trap. I just feel like the Democrats have fallen into a trap of their own making, and they continue to slide into this narrative that they, for some reason, think that it is endearing to the American public. But this is the one issue that President Trump and the Republicans have been leading in the polls, and not just Republicans be supportive of it, but all Americans, independents, Democrats, whatever, and that's the issue of illegal immigration. This is the one that's most important to most people because it's impacted their lives, whether it's through violence or crime or fentanyl. There's been some sort of impact, and they've just rushed to the opposite side, and they've lost Republican voters on it, Democratic voters, blacks, Hispanics, you know, and they're bleeding voters on it, and yet they're standing behind it. It makes no sense to me.
You know, Rich, I'm going to be a little bit of the contrarian here. The Democrats, Chris Van Hollen or any of these virtue signaling fakes, don't care about Abrego Garcia. What they care about is keeping the, quote, Latino population where they need them, so they'll vote for their power. Same thing they did with the black community, Jim Clyburn, the corrupt Black Caucus, all of them, they're interested in keeping their power. What do you say?
Well, it's a complete misreading of the politics, if that's what they're thinking. Hispanics in the United States do not like illegal immigration. African Americans do not like illegal immigration. No one likes illegal immigration. This was at least a top 3 issue for President Trump during the campaign, one of his most powerful issues, and it's one of the things he's most popular on in the initial months of his administration. Now, legally, I would bring him back. I think they're not on firm legal ground, but this guy never should have been in the United States in the first place. He's not a good guy. The effort to make him into the second coming in Nelson Mandela is ridiculous, and he may well be a member of MS-13. And I think the administration likes this fight, obviously for understandable reasons, that Salena was just saying, right? This is the box. They want Democrats in, falling all over themselves over this dubious guy who may well be a gang member, and they've fallen for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and Van Hollen, it wasn't about whatever you were drinking. Again, you took the bait on that too. It was about the fact you went down there in the first place, you jerk. On to this. So President Trump has questioned Columbia University and Princeton's tax-exempt status now, as the Education Department is requesting records from Harvard on foreign financial disclosures. Rich, this seems to be spreading, and I don't know about removing the tax-exempt status of these universities, but there's a whole heck of a lot of things that certainly Congress could do to just starve these universities or tax the you-know-what out of them.
Yeah, so I have zero sympathy for Harvard. If they just acceded to all of the Trump administration's demands, it'd be a better university. And Obama and Biden use these sort of purse strings repeatedly to impose their preferred policies on every single university in America. Obama basically eliminated due process on college campus for alleged sexual harassment and sexual assault cases through pulling on these purse strings. Obama and Biden both did it, trying to impose trans ideology on the university. And now we come around and someone else's ox is being gored, or their ox is being gored, and now they're upset about it.
You know, Salena, they were hooked on the money. Let's call it what it is. Universities like the money, but the fact is they said yes to the consent decrees, to Obama. And unless you have a legitimate program, legitimate federal study at your institute or in your lab, you shouldn't be getting federal money when you have tens of billions of dollars of endowments you can use.
Right. And these universities have become incubators for the political policies that were embraced by Biden and by Obama. And so there was sort of a wink, wink, nod, nod. And the result is what we saw since October 7th of 2023, that we see with these protests, that we see with how they've distributed the money. And we see that it's trying to change our society. They're part of our cultural curators, academics, institutions, government, and it's just another hand in it. And receiving money from the government is just one more, having it taken away I don't think they know how to handle this.
We should own the IP for any grants, the federal taxpayers. We should hike the tax on these outsized endowments, and we should also cap student loans for graduate programs. Those are three things that Congress could do. Well, Congress doesn't do anything lickety-split. So blessed Good Friday and Easter to both of you.
Happy
Rich
Easter.
Lowry and Salena Zito.